Hi, this is Toby here, and in this video I would like to talk to you about burnout, what it is, and how do you know you have it. Now, this question come about because last end of last week I had a 5 ways to wellbeing video series that I did. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. And I had a few comments and questions as a result of that. And one of the questions was, how do I know if I have burnout and what do I do from there? Um, yeah, so I'm going to answer that straight into it. So, what is burnout and how do I know I have it? So, burnout is the stage when stress had now gone on for an extended or prolonged period of time. So, just to recap a little bit, stress is what happened when you're unable to meet the resources that you have internally or externally to a demand being placed on you. With most of the time, we usually rise to the challenge of this stress and therefore we find solutions and then we meet the demand, or we get used to the stress level because we now know how to cope with it. Burnout is when we're unable to cope with the stress level. And not only unable to cope, but it is prolonging or lasting longer than we expected it to be, and therefore it's affecting other parts of us and ourselves and our work, our business, whatever. Family life is starting to affect those in a way that has now lasted longer than we expected. Okay? So that's what burnout is. Now, why is it important to know this and why it's important to you and to your business? Now, if you're experiencing burnout, all it means is that there are a lot of things that factors that are going through there. Is that it affects you because it affects how you run your business, it affects your productivity, it affects your well-being, it affects your relationship with other people, and because you're not the only one going through it, other people will go through it with you. It would affect, if you have clients, it's going to affect how you react, how you engage with your client. It's going to affect your 5 ways to well-being and how effective you are at managing them. So it affects the bottom line at the end of the day. If you own a business and your business is your bread and butter, and you are less productive because you are under pressure and you're unable to deal with that pressure, in which case you're burning out, then you can see how this is going to affect the bottom line of actually earning more money, frankly. So, what are the signs and what are we looking out for? Now, the signs are, I just want to be able to share just some of it. Now, ideally, we have, for the most part, 3 stages of burnout, and I prefer to use this structure because it's easier for people to understand. 3 stages, and they each have different context. Stage 1 is what we call stress arousal. So this is your average stage of stress that you're particularly aware of, but your stress is now persistent. You're now feeling more irritable. Your anxiety is starting to increase. Maybe you're struggling to sleep, difficulty sleeping. You're forgetting stuff. You might have headaches now that are just not quite. They're more tension headaches now, as opposed to dehydration headache where you feel like you need to drink some water, for example, and just inability to concentrate. So that is what I would say about that. So and you only need 2 of what I've just mentioned to acknowledge that you're in stage 1 burnout. Okay? Stage 2 burnout is what we call energy conservation. It's exactly what it says. The body is trying to conserve energy based on prioritizing areas or parts of the body that it feels need prioritizing. So your brain, your heart, your blood, all this stuff, your organs, right? Which means it's trying to make sure that you don't exert it. So how it plays out in real life might be you feeling particularly tired, and when you're tired, when you eventually go to bed because you've been having insomnia or struggling to sleep, when you eventually sleep, you're not getting enough rest, which means that in the morning when your alarm goes off, for example, you can't physically get up. You're too exhausted to get up, and therefore what the body tries to do is prevent you from getting up, so you physically feel too tired to do so. So what you end up doing is snoozing your alarm clock or your phone. And so what happens is you do that several times over for a few times, and then you're starting to get late for work now, or you're not, or you're rushing to get there. When you are at work and you're in your business, wherever you are, you then tend to procrastinate on things that need more energy from you. So you start prioritizing smaller tasks. So things that you feel like won't need a lot of energy, like maybe checking emails or stuff, as opposed to doing that extra sort of piece of work that would have moved you and your business forward. So you're not calling clients particularly because it's a bit of sort of hard work to try and sell. So you're not doing that. You're doing little things like tweaking your website again, because it's easier to change the font color or something than it is to actually perhaps write new content, because you need to concentrate to write new content, things like that. Then you might have reduced sex drive in terms of your personal life. You might feel resentful, and you're now probably not very positive person to be around. And what it might feel like is that whatever in your business, whatever idea you have, you probably shoot them down quickly. Idea that other people might have about your business or suggestion people might make, you might shut them down too, even if you don't say it, but you're thinking, I can't be asked now because that's another thing I have to do, or another idea that I have to try. And so you're not going to be very forthcoming with being open into what might work inside your business. So that's how stage 2 would look. And again, remember, like the first stage, you only need to have 2 of these symptoms to identify as being in stage 2. So consider what's happening to you right now. Stage 3 is where we call exhaustion. So it's exactly what it is. The body can no longer conserve it, so it is now packing up. And what has come about is now where you feel very low in mood. So it has progressed a bit more now. So feel low in mood. Your anxiety is probably higher. You're withdrawing from other people. You're not answering phone calls as much as you do, or responding to emails on time. When friends ask you to come out for drinks, and then you just you're refusing to do so, you're turning them down. And I think, and you are, because you're tired, and it's all a bit too much of a hassle for you to contain. When it's really exaggerated, is when people start to have suicidal ideation, or, in a word, thinking that they might be better off dead, which is just a sad place for anybody to be in. So those are the stages. So again, you only need to have 2 of those symptoms that just described for stage 3 to identify that you might be in stage 3 for real. So that's exactly what burnout is. So recap, burnout is prolonged stress. It's gone on so long that you're unable to cope very much. And the 3 stages are stress arousal, energy conservation, and exhaustion. So those are the ways, and those are the signs. Now, what do you do about that once you discover that that's what's going on with you? My first thing, to get a full assessment properly, to make sure that to make sure that that's where you really are, and the detailing of it. So this is what I do inside my business of wellness. And so we're going to look at exactly how burnt out you are, and then put in some tailor-made sort of strategy that you can try. Now, especially if you're in stage 2 and 3, I'm going to be recommending that you do some sort of work around that. If you're in stage 1, I'm going to say that you increase your wellbeing strategy, and if you find the 5 ways to wellbeing that we did last week, go back and find some of those videos. Implementing those would help you in stage 1 to be able to reduce that stress and probably reverse the burnout. If you're in stage 2 and 3, I'm going to recommend that you PM me or DM me, contact me, to be able to get an assessment, and then way that you can work with me to be able to help you get back to to normal. So that's it for me today. If you'd like this video and you think it was helpful to you, or you think particularly it will be helpful for someone that you know who might have been taking some of these signs of burnout, then please forward them or share this email with them. Not email, share this video with them. And hopefully you might be able to get somebody to start to feel better about themselves. So, and that's it from me. My name is Obehi Alafoje, and I'm a psychologist and stress management coach, and I work with professionals and entrepreneurs and CEOs in their business to achieve better well-being and be more productive in their work. Okay, thank you. That's it from me. See you next time. Bye.